And I lost my agenda.
Madam Mayor, it is 9:02 and we are live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friday the 13th agenda meeting of the City of Lake Worth Beach Commission. Can I have the roll call, please?
Mayor Betty Resch.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sarah Maliga.
Present.
Commissioner Christopher McVoy is currently absent. Commissioner Mimi May.
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Segrich.
Present.
Good morning, everybody. I have a request from from Vice Mayor Malega to go first. She has something she'd like to ask us about.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for giving me the privilege. So as the CRA liaison, I've been meeting with staff and board members in regards to some housekeeping. And one thing that's come up is we all know the good work that the partnership the CRA has formed with Habitat for Humanity and Community Land Trust and Adopt a Family. In 2012, when these projects first started, there was an executive brief that followed an ordinance that was written in 2010 in regards to landscaping requirements for these small lots. Given the size of the lots, the majority of the lots that the CRA and these partners use being the 25-foot lots. Unfortunately, there's been a disconnect between city staff changeover with these community partners, and now they're being fined for things that were part of this ordinance in 2010 and part of this executive brief. Another thing with the executive brief is that the water and sewer tapping charges were waived, the water meter setup fees, water meter downsize cost, unmetered fire line inspection charges, and the water and sewer capacity charges were all waived for these partners and for the CRA. Well, somehow the disconnect between, again, the change in our staff and their staff, they've now been getting hit with these big fees that were not part of their pro forma. And to keep these houses affordable, they're way out of line right now. So I would like to add these two items to the agenda for conversation so you guys can see the backup, see what the agreements were, and direct staff to continue these agreements with just these partners when it comes to creating affordable housing in Lake Worth Beach. So I need a consensus from you to bring this forward.
What say you, colleagues?
Yeah, I mean, we should definitely bring it forward and talk about it. Do you want it? How soon do you need it, Sarah?
As soon as possible, because currently Community Land Trust is looking at over $60,000 in fees that they were not aware that was going to happen. And we have 3 situations with Habitat for Humanity that they're being fined for tree removals, and they can't replace the trees because of the lot size, but they've offered to put trees throughout the city. And we just need direction from commission to continue these agreements. So these houses are on hold right now, basically.
Do we have room? Can we do that on the 17th, or does it have to wait till July 1st?
I think it has to wait till July 1st. Maybe, I don't know, staff, maybe the 17th, Jamie?
The meeting's on Tuesday. I don't think it's that imperative that we had an emergency add on 2 more weeks. And apparently they've been aware of it for a while, so let's do it on July. Madam Clerk, do you know how busy the July 1st meeting is?
It's not busy at all. I just looked at it. So
okay, let's do it on July 1st.
Add it to the July 1st meeting.
Because then people have a chance to look at it. But
understood. Yeah. And I will make sure that you guys get this ordinance and the executive brief in your email.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Segrich, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
The second,
just to interrupt, I apologize. Commissioner McVoy has arrived.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
The second item in for the CRA is, we are going to be having the interviews on the 26th before the workshop. And currently we almost had a situation again. This was not just the first time, but at the CRA for lack of quorum on Tuesday. And one of the members, I actually called and said, "Are you on your way?" And they were like, "Yeah, I'm on my way." I said, "Well, we don't have quorum until you get here." I would like to have a
Oh.
conversation prior to the interviews addressing attendance. We have some members that have been absent 8 times or have logged in from another country or another state. We have some members that have been absent 5 times. And the language clearly states the attendance for the CRA, that the commission hereby declares if any member of the board shall fail to be present at 3 consecutive regularly scheduled meetings or 20% of the regularly scheduled meetings of the board held within 12 months, the city clerk shall schedule the matter for hearing before the commission. So we need to schedule a hearing to address this attendance issue.
Yeah, that's been lingering out there for a while. I think I agree with you. Well, I mean, it sounds like there's we're just not enforcing it. I mean, there's a
Yeah, so,
rule.
but the city clerk needs to schedule this hearing, so I just kind of, I don't
Right.
even need consensus, I just wanted to bring it forward for your attention.
I
Because
think-
technically, we will probably have to be replacing more people than we assumed at the workshop. But I think Christy can help guide us on that as well.
Okay, yeah. Are some of the CRA members don't have an expiration date?
No, they all do.
They all do? Okay, because
Yeah.
we've made some changes at the beginning. Mr. Brown, let me call Mr. Brown first just to see what he says. Mr. Brown,
Yeah, and I'll need some clarification for our city attorney, but I believe the hearing would have to be to actually remove specific people or specific
Right.
person. I don't know if it could be like a general hearing / discussion. So I just want
no,
to get some clarification from.
it would be
the
about
attorney.
specific people who have not, attended, I think.
Because I believe we would have to send, I believe it's 10 days prior to the hearing, and we would have to send something to them so they're notified and everything. So I just want to make sure we understand that it can't just be like a general meeting or a general hearing.
Right, no, we have a procedure. We have a policy. I think Sarah's just asking us to enforce it.
Correct,
Well,
that's exactly
again,
what I'm
if
asking.
you're wanting to address this prior to the interviews you guys are doing on the 26th, look into the calendar. That means we would have to get something out as far as the notification today. We
Well,
have to
do we
set
have-
the hearing and send out the notifications today.
Do we have consensus to do that?
Yeah.
Or we don't even need
I
consensus?
mean, they know
if we
who they
just-
are.
If we all agree that we need to enforce this, and I guess we just get staff to send out the notice immediately, so we're not out of the timeline.
10 days though. Today's 10 days for not for this coming meeting.
No,
The
this would have to
26th.
be on the, you guys are meeting on the 26th, so this would have to be on we'd have to do it before the utility meeting on the 24th,
Okay,
because that's the only meeting after the 17th that also is before the 26th.
Okay. Good idea. Thank you.
Hey, there's
Thank
people
you.
with their hands up.
I know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Segrich is next.
I was just gonna say, I agree with doing it before the
Right.
interviews.
Yep. Okay. Mimi,
I'm done. Sorry.
you don't have anything to say now that you've complained. Okay. So who's next? District 2.
Thank you. Apologies for not having been there right at the beginning. I couldn't find an invitation to the
I'm sorry, Madam
pre-agenda.
Mayor. Commissioner McVoy, I just wanted to let you all know that we do have an issue with the CRA, so we will be publishing the notice today, and I'll send out the letter after this meeting since there was
Thank you.
consensus.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Madam Mayor?
Yeah.
Real quick before Commissioner McBoy goes, and Madam Clerk, if you could, would that be at 5 or 5:30 on that 24th before the utility meeting, or when would we be doing this hearing on the 24th exactly? So we're all clear.
Yeah, we noticed it at 5 because that's normally the time we do meetings, special meetings before a specific meeting. If you all would like it to be at 5:30, I can certainly notice it for that time. But I didn't know how long the conversation would be.
Let's do 5.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
problem?
thank you.
Mimi, Anthony, Chris, any problem with 5 rather than 5:30?
Hold on, let me check. This is on the 24th?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it would precede the utility.
We have a
meeting.
meeting anyway.
No, I can't do that. I'm on a field trip all day that day.
Well, are you planning on being at the meeting that night?
Hopefully I would be back. It'll be tight, but
Well, I
We'll
think we
still
have
have a
I mean,
quorum.
we'll have a quorum. We can't put this off. Sorry.
well, you could, but
No, we can't because the meeting is the interviews are 2 days later for the CRA. It's about the CRA, so we're kind of timeline now. Okay. Okay. District 1, do you have anything else, Sarah? Went to sleep. I guess no, she'll come back. Chris, District 2.
I'm here. For some reason, my
Oh.
headphones were acting up. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, ma'am. Yes, on the agenda, the only concern I had, and I just caught it, was, I'm a little concerned that we're spending so much money on the golf course. I know that we approved the golf course cart path repairs last budget season. And then we just replaced the sign, which looks magnificent, by the way, as you're coming over the bridge. But when I look at the fact that we're trying to fix this golf ball hole situation for the 5 or 6 houses that are being affected by random balls, I'm concerned that we're spending money when we might just be going out to RFP on the golf course in general. So I would like us to just be mindful of the money that we continue to invest in this golf course if quickly down the road we may be having a conversation on bringing in a triple P partner and all the money we've spent goes out the door. Because right now, I know the golf course isn't sitting flush with funds. So that's my only concern on the agenda items that are coming up is the
Okay.
finances of the golf course.
Thank you, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, I mean, it's not just it's actually quite a large problem. I think Anthony is well aware of it as well. We've been in touch with these, and apparently the golfers have gotten so bad that it's a hailstorm of golf balls. People are getting their cars are hit, their windows are hit, and when we get to that, I have another suggestion for this, which I'm hoping would be cheaper. Instead of moving the tees, and I've been out to the golf course and spoken with people. It's a very short span of people that are having trouble. And so I'm thinking, those golf driving ranges have those giant nets. And I'm wondering if it wouldn't be cheaper. And I asked Tiana to take a look at this, how much it would cost just to, for that block or so to put up a giant net. And I see Mr. Brown's, it would be cheaper, quicker.
Yeah, my concern is that we have birds flying around and we, the oyster catchers and the pelicans.
I understand, but I mean, they do use them. At first I didn't want to suggest it because of the birds, but when I drive around and I see so many places using them, seems like another solution, an option, because it is a lot of money that we're spending. But I'm going to tell you, it's more than just a couple golf balls. It's a nightmare for these people, and we need to respect that. Mr. Brown.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Since you brought it up, our Marty, our golf pro, did actually get some preliminary pricing on that. I knew it was going to be high just because of the location, the proximity to the lagoon, and the depth at which you would have to drive all of those piles. So 40 feet high, you're looking around 90,000. 50 feet high, 117,000. 60 feet high, 156,000. That's just a preliminary estimate. So it is a substantial to actually install the poles and a net. It's a substantial cost to do that.
And how much is it to move the tee box?
I am deriving because I had to drop kids off. Tiana, I'm sure you have that pulled up. Could you? I'm going to refer to Tiana real quick. She probably has it right in front of her.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ms. McKay.
Good morning, Director McKay, Leisure Services. So the option that we listed in the backup for moving the tee box to the right and changing the direction, the cost to change the direction of the tee box would be approximately $15,000. So in comparison.
And what about the option of making it a par 3, which the folks involved are very, very much in favor of just changing it. They don't believe that moving the tee box is going to solve the problem. Their suggestion is to go to And they've done a lot of research. I have to say, these are not just people that are, complaining. Anthony, I know that I'm looking to you to back me up on this, that these people are well
Madam
informed.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
we'll have our golfer Marty there on Tuesday at the meeting to discuss. But if you look at the backup, it does have the options there, as well
Yeah.
as the pros and cons. And due to the revenue loss, if we changing that hole to a par 3 drops us under 6,000 yards, that is not something that those looking to play would be in favor of.
I mean,
But we
people
can go.
wouldn't want to play it.
Yeah, because and again, I'm not a golfer, but evidently, when you're looking at courses to play, you look for a certain distance. Like you don't want your golf course to drop under a par 70. There's also length.
Well, what would that, if we drop that to a 3, what would that bring us to?
Tiana, I know you have those numbers in front of you.
Just curious. It's a 4 now?
It's a par 4 right now, correct? And we would lose, I believe, like 270 some yards if we went from a par 4 to a par 3, which then drops the overall par for the course as well as the overall distance of the course. And I guess the golf mathematics, there are certain numbers or thresholds you do not want to drop below.
Right. Yeah.
In order for it to remain a course that people still would like to play.
Right. It's a matter of numbers. Well, Tiana, do you have that?
I do. So the total of the yardage of the golf course will be reduced by approximately 220 yards should we reduce it down to a par 3, which would bring us under 5,791 yards, which we could lose revenue due to it being under a 6,000 total yards course, which is what golfers are looking for.
Okay, so 6,000 is kind of the magic number. What about par? Isn't there a par number that they're looking for? 71?
Yeah, so our total total par would be reduced from a 71 to a 70. And like Jamie said, we will have our golf professional, PGA certified golfer, Marty Caifano, at the meeting to speak to it as well.
Okay, Mr. Segwich.
Yeah, I can reiterate what you've said, Mayor, in terms of the severity of the problem for the neighbors there. There's houses that are actually 2 blocks away that are getting hit, as well as people and cars. But I did want to follow on what Commissioner Malega had said. I too am concerned about the level of disrepair on our course and the dollar amounts that it's going to take to repair that. I would be very much in favor of trying to figure out what we can do to explore a P3 for the course now, and maybe get with the city attorney to kind of understand what options we have in terms of that land in a P3, and would something actually be possible without referendum, or would we be waiting on the referendum to kind of resolve this? Because I believe it's the 100-year anniversary of the golf course coming up, and it's not in good shape. But the good news is, if we look at what West Palm did recently, they really created a wonderful space, not only for the golfers but for the community, in how they redid their golf course. The clubhouse, the brunches, and things like that are utilized more than just by the golfers. So I would also encourage everyone maybe take a trip there and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the golf course is ripe for a triple P project. And the thing that I do hear about that course, though, is that the rates have gone so high that locals are struggling to afford it. But that's neither here nor there. Ms. Malega is next, up next. Sarah?
I thought Mimi had her hand up, sorry. Okay, and another thing, and thank you guys for this great conversation and being a little thorough and not just approving, quick fixes. If I also would like a thorough financial picture of what the golf course is at right now. It wasn't part of the backup. I do know that we're using some of the money from a bond to finish paying for the paving, which tells me we don't have a surplus of money at the golf course. So if Yannick could bring, or Tiana, a screenshot of where we are today, what our numbers look like, usage, and where we are financially for the rest of this fiscal year. and what the projections for next fiscal year are before we make this decision.
Okay, I mean, we have to act on this situation. We can't just not do it.
No, I agree that I agree that we need to act, but I would just like to see the finances that are going to
Sure.
help support whatever decision we make.
Yep, Mr. McVoy. Oh, Mr. Brown, is that you? Who was that?
Yannick.
Yannick, hi, good morning.
Yeah, fine. So, good morning. The golf course has been doing work
You're
for
breaking up. You're
over the
breaking up.
Can't hear you at
past,
all.
2 years. Yeah, the golf. Can you hear me now?
No. I mean, that we could hear, but not before that.
How about now?
Yes.
Much
Yeah. So
better.
the golf course has been doing pretty well. It's just that the reason why we're using bond money is because that would we still have money left from the 2020 bond that we need to spend within 5 years. So we're trying to get that, and we have that flexibility to use those money towards golf course improvements.
Well, I would
you.
much rather use that money for road repair and sidewalks personally. That would
Yes, but-
benefit the entire city.
Well, we don't really have that much left. It's we have around, I would say, about 300,000.
And if we're talking 15,000 for this fix, that's really minuscule. So Mr. McVoy, were you done, Yannick? Were you finished? That was helpful.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McVoy?
Okay, a couple things on the golf
Oh,
course.
no, wait, on the golf course, you're talking about the golf course? On this
Yeah.
issue? Okay,
Couple things on the golf course. I too share the concern of spending money, sort of focused on the retention pond and the paths. If we're thinking of other things and maybe it should be bundled with it, or whatever, make sure we do it in a fairly tight, pulled together way. I agree with the concern that we have other needs. We have the city annex, we have roads, we have sidewalks that are needs also. So I don't know how priorities work there. I didn't see anything, maybe I overlooked it in the backup on the concern about hole 3. I didn't see anything indicating what the affected parties, the area, as Commissioner Segridge pointed out, and I've heard that directly from residents also, that this problem is not just those directly adjacent to the golf course, but it extends at least a block away and maybe more on occasion. I didn't see anything indicating what those affected parties thought about the various options, and that would be helpful in our decision making.
I'm sure we'll hear from them.
Well, I would have included it in the backup because we're going to hear that the golfers want this or that or the other, but we should also hear the other side of, well, what about the people who've been affected by this for a long time and have been promised relief for a long time and haven't gotten it?
Well, that's exactly who we're gonna, I mean, that's why we're bringing this forward, because it has become a major problem for this area of the city.
Right. My point is that should have been included in the backup, some indicating that we've communicated with them and they think that option XYZ would help the problem.
Okay.
That I think that would be appropriate in the backup, both for the community and for us as decision makers. Do you want my other items at this point?
No, let's go. No, not, thank you. Mr. Brown's got his hand up and Mr. Segridge. Jamie?
Oh, yeah, I did want to mention each of you. We did receive we had reached out and spoken to our risk attorney on this whole situation because some of the emails that came in made it necessary for us to do that. This is not something that, again, the people who are speaking about this moved into an area adjacent to a golf course. This is not something that is unique as far as the complaints that come in that happen in other communities too. But we did reach out to our risk attorney to see if we have any exposure for this. There seems not to be a concern, but I did want to throw that out there as well.
Thank you. Mr. Segridge?
Sorry, just very quick. If Commissioner McVoy wants, the affected parties did put together a proposal quite a detailed proposal on what
Right.
they thought the solution should be, which actually served to inform our options. If you don't have a copy of that, I'll send it to Jamie, and maybe Jamie can send it to all of us again. But they have put together a very detailed proposal on what they were seeking.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay,
Mimi's hand is up, by the way.
oh, Mimi, I'm sorry. It's on the white of your thing. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Hold on, let me lower it so it's not up forever. I just want to put in my 2 cents on the golf course. It is one of our revenue creating assets right now. And I think that as I don't think any of us are golfers. We got to be careful saying, oh, you know, it's in horrible shape, or it's this or it's that, making these generalized statements. Because I don't think it is. I mean, people golf there every single day, and you know, what I'm looking for is to make sure that we handle all of the safety aspects. And I believe that the cart paths and the pond are safety. I mean, they literally couldn't drive along the path because it was cracking and going into the pond. So I'm not looking for any aesthetic improvements. I'm not looking for anything like that. I just want to make sure that it's safe, and it's I would never want to do anything that would change it to a lesser course. So I'm not looking to change any par levels, because then we wouldn't be able to get the revenues that we are getting. I think that as far as listening to the neighbors, they have been very vocal. I think there's 2 sides of that. I think there is, you live on a golf course, but the other side is the other people that are being affected don't live on a golf course, and they're still getting affected because the balls are going over. So, you know, as far as there's going to be a P3, absolutely, I agree with that. But even if we put the P3 out tomorrow, we're still not looking at anything changing within the next maybe 2 years. So I do want to make sure that even though we can be optimistic about a change, it doesn't affect the neighbor's problem right now. So that's kind of where my 2 cents is on it. But I think that we need to make sure that we understand, and maybe Marty can stress or not, or clarify whether any of the changes that we're doing are purely aesthetic, or if they are for safety of either golfers and or residents.
Yep. Agreed. Mr. McBoy.
Yeah, just quick, I forgot to mention, there was a request for some backup information from Yannick on the finances. I would encourage us, because I've been around long enough to know that the golf course goes up and down. I've had many years where people said, oh, we're bringing in this change or this new person and it's going to be great, and then we lose 100,000. Could we include in the backup finance information, say the last 3-5 years, so we can see, is there any trend up, down, or what's the noise level, how it varies? And then could we also include in the backup information for Tuesday, something to address the mayor's point, some indication, if we've got it, of city of Lake Worth residents who play versus out of city golfers? That'd be helpful to know, because I've heard that concern too, that, you know, it's a city-owned golf course, but it's too expensive for people who live here.
Okay. I think Sarah just asked for that financial statement. Didn't you, Sarah?
My clarification
Yes,
was,
ma'am.
let's have several years.
Well, I don't think, I mean, again, I don't want to broaden this. I mean, we're dealing with a very specific
Correct.
problem right now. So I think if we have an idea of where things are, it doesn't have any relevance to our people's yards, our people's cars getting their windshields broken.
I agree
Okay.
with you, Madam Mayor. My point of
Thank-
asking for the finances is just so we know and we have a clear picture, whatever decision we make, where's the money coming from? Because we
Uh-huh.
are in the end of budget, and I don't know, is this going to come out of this year's budget, or we set it for next year's? I would just like more clarification on the financial part.
do you all agree with me, except Mr. McBoy, apparently, that this is a specific problem that we need to address it? And it's safety.
Can I add something to
Yes,
that?
Miss, I was just gonna call on you, Miss May.
Oh, sorry. The request for the finances is a quantitative request that I believe they could probably get. The other request that Commissioner McBoy just made is very qualitative, and I don't think the finance department would be able to get that.
No.
I also think that it wouldn't be relevant to this discussion. And I don't know that the comment made by it's too expensive, I don't know that we were referring to our course. We were referring it to the West Palm Beach course, I believe. But I think asking for any sort of empirical or not, or whatever it is, the qualitative data where you have to go out and survey and find things like that would be an unreasonable request, A, for a finance department, and B, 3 days before or 5 days before the actual meeting.
And irrelevant.
Well,
To the issue.
irrelevant is a judgment, but I just think
Right, but, you know, to this specific problem.
to this
Okay.
specific problem, yes.
Right. Okay, so it is now 9:30. Mr. McVoy, did you have any other issues?
I did. Thank you for asking.
Okay, we're dividing up the time, so please be aware of the time.
Madam Mayor, I find I represent a good chunk of the city also, and I repeatedly am interrupted. I repeatedly am told my requests for information are not relevant. I'm a little tired of it, so I will use my time. Thank you.
And you'll get your time.
Casino ballroom operations, I am concerned that as we look at the options, there is no statement of what we as a city consider the mission for that ballroom to be, for that space. My understanding, when the building was designed and approved, which I had some late involvement in toward the end of that process, it was very clear that the casino ballroom was intended to be a public amenity, a public space as a unifying location for the community, to bring events that would be open to as broad a part or have a series of different events that would pull in different parts of the community. I see no statement of that goal or mission here. I see it moving toward, hey, we got some space. Can we turn it into, we're now a landlord, which we've been told numerous times, we don't want to be a landlord, but now we're a landlord and we're just going to rent it out and try to make as much money off of it. I want us to be explicit about what is our mission for that space so that that informs our choices of how we move forward on it. So that's my concern with the casino one. On the abandonment for 1302 South Lake, so between 1302 and 1230 Lakeside, 13th Avenue, the resolution states that this would be done to improve the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. Where is the backup in this item indicating how this would improve the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood? And what are the downsides to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood? It needs to present both of those in the backup. Where in the backup is there any indication of neighborhood support for various options here, abandonment or not abandonment? And finally, I put in a request for information, and I believe it was made at a pre-agenda meeting, maybe at a regular meeting, I do not recall on that. But I asked specifically that the backup include PBSO calls for service, and specifically what were the responses on that? Because sometimes there can be a call for service and the response is we went and looked and there was no problem. That's relevant to know. I do not see that in the backup. And that seems to me a shortfall on how we address making a informed decision here. Could we please rectify those shortfalls in the backup before Tuesday?
Thank you. Mr. Segrich?
I've seen some of that information because I requested it for myself. I think it would help to be in the backup when we actually have the hearing versus this, which is just we are going to give notice and schedule for the hearing. But I do think Mr. McVoy raises a valid point that, this is salient information that we should have. But, right now we're being asked whether or not we want to actually have the hearing and whether or not we want to give these individuals the chance to tell their story and inform us with what's going on in that particular alleyway. I do think that they are asking us to consider the abandonment for the health and safety of the neighborhood. There have been considerable calls for service to that alleyway. I would like to thank PBSO for all of their work that they've done in the last month there and other areas. People in the neighborhood have seen a marked improvement, as well as thank Public Works for all the work that they've done in that area in terms of landscaping and tree arrangement and so on to help rectify the problem. But I do think, you know, these individuals have been suffering for a long time, and they deserve to be heard. But, you know, so if we can get the backup for the actual hearing, great, you know, because it takes time to get that information from PBSO. But I really do believe that these individuals need to be heard and need to have their hearing.
Yeah, and that's all we're doing is giving notice that we're going to have.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
this is Christy.
Hi.
Just so you know, we received a request from the attorney for 1302 South Lakeside Drive to push this off until July.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Well, that takes care of that for now. Mr. McVoy?
Wait, if somebody makes a request, we just do it because it's their hearing. I don't understand how that works.
Well, it is their request. So
They're the applicant, and
Okay.
the email indicated that they wanted to do some community outreach on the issue.
Okay.
And I think Elizabeth from our office has been in conversation with them, so they're going to wait till Elizabeth returns and have a conversation with her about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, just a clarification. So this was originally on in May, and then it got pushed to the June 3rd meeting, which then they requested to move to the June 17th meeting. And now, Christy, when you spoke with the attorney, are they looking for the first meeting in July, second meeting in July? Just want to know when we need to actually slide this to.
She wanted to push the whole thing off until July, so I'm assuming that would be the first reading to see if there's a desire to consider going to a hearing. So that won't be till July.
Okay, so I guess Madam Clerk, I guess slide that item to the July 1st meeting then?
Yeah, I'll move it to the July 1st and republish the agenda today.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Now we're 20 to 10, and Mimi's, I see your hand is up, Mr. Segrich. I don't know if that's in response to that, or Mimi, do you have something new that you'd like to bring up before we run out of time? Because I'm a hard 10 o'clock. I mean, this is a hard 10 o'clock.
I do just quickly, I want to put it on the record where I'm requesting, and I can't remember exactly, and Mr. Brown, maybe you can help me with this. When I was at the League of Cities luncheon yesterday, one of the councilmen from Atlanta said that we were the only city who did not make the resolution to be part of that consortium of cities in the corridor. And I don't think that's true, but I wanted to just double check that we did do that resolution, that we are part of the group, because I know that County Commissioner Flores is looking for us to be united in some of the things that he's bringing forward. And it was brought to my attention that we were not on board with that, but I'm not sure that that's true. And I just want some clarification.
I think we did that a couple months ago, but.
Madam Mayor, we did. I can go back through the agendas and see which meeting that was, but we did do a resolution for that.
Could somebody, I mean, when you find that, Mr. Brown, do you mind sending that to me so I can send it over to the gentleman from Atlantis?
Can I interrupt? Is it the countywide transportation plan that we're discussing?
I believe so.
Okay.
It was a resolution that we were, I believe, I can't remember the exact language, but basically that we were in support of the joining the Central
Collaborative
Counties
process
Coalition.
for a collaborative process for developing and creating a countywide transportation plan.
I believe that's it. What day was
Okay.
that?
It's 02/2025. I will send you a signed copy of it, Commissioner, when we get off the meeting.
Okay, and Mr. Brown, maybe reach out to Atlantis?
Yeah, I just talked to Brian yesterday, so I'm
All
not
right,
sure.
well,
what
double
he's
check, tell them
referring
that
to,
they're,
but-
yeah, if you don't mind, maybe it's something else that that it's not that, but so they said we were the only one who didn't do something, and I didn't want to be that.
And they're so wrong. We were early, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just want to clarify.
Is
Yeah.
it possible that they were referring to something with the airport, the Lantana Airport? Because that
No.
was Atlanta's
That-
concern.
No, that hasn't come up
No, that
recently.
was different.
Okay.
No, they
Um,
weren't talking about that.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
it could be because I know that we dealt with it at Green Acres in the Village of Palm Springs. It could be a resolution to create sort of a central Palm Beach County
Yes, like a consortium
a
of,
consortium that was to try to set up that the central Palm Beach County municipalities would, strengthen their resolve with going after improvement in the central Palm Beach County area. So it could be that resolution.
Yeah.
can you, so if it is Christie, is that the one that we haven't done?
I don't know, but I will share it with Jamie and Shayla and see if that's the one that the manager from Atlantis is mentioning.
Okay, and also if it is, and we haven't done it and they've all done it, can I get some consensus to bring that forward on a future agenda?
Got it from me, Mr. Segrich, Mr. McBoy,
Sure.
Ms. Malega, if you're still.
And hopefully one sooner than later, because they are doing something on the county commission on July 8th, where we kind of need to be in alignment.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Yeah, and what that is I go to these meetings, it's PGA is being developed, Boca is being developed, the mid-county, we're sort of, meh. And
Right.
so what they're trying to do is to get all the cities together, and I don't know what the result will be, but to try to get us talking about how do we bring more businesses to the center of Palm Beach County to make it a little more, I mean, we're built out, we have some challenges, but at least talk together about what we can possibly do. I know JFK is looking to expand across the street as a possibility, but that's just one of the things.
And Madam Mayor?
Yep.
Real quick on that topic, I know that Commissioner Flores is looking, he was getting $1 million out of their budget to put toward a master plan for the central counties. But again, I'll get with the attorney and see if what that resolution actually states. But we did do the one for the coordinated master plan.
So
Yeah,
we
he's real pro.
need to do another one is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, what goes along with that is that there was a meeting we had at there's Green Acres. Commissioner Flores said that part of that would be they would be looking for some funding from each of those municipalities to go toward this effort. And the number that was thrown out was between 200 and 300.
Oh, I was not speaking toward that. I was speaking just towards the resolution to join together.
Yes. I'm just letting you know that something comes with that though. So
It brings a price tag, but I think we need to do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
I believe that that's it for me for right now.
Okay, I have something real quick, before I call on Anthony for, District 4. Mr. Brown, I mentioned to you before, the Lake Avenue tree in front of Dave's is a real big concern. I would like if we could address at the meeting on Tuesday, why it's happening, why we can't save it, and the replacement. I was just up in New York, and it's really interesting because these streets that 30 years ago were blank and now they're tree lined, they're lush, and they're not pulling up the sidewalk. I mean, there are trees that we can do this that actually also get a good height and get a good canopy. So I'm going to bring that up to you. I don't want to broadside you. I don't want to pop quiz you about that. That's one quick thing I have. Mr. Segrich, I'll think of the other thing. Mr. Segrich, what you got something? I'll be right back. I'm listening.
Most of what I wanted to discuss was covered. I did have a question about the 13th Avenue South abandonment and the scheduling of that. Is it possible, or do we think it's best not to just keep bumping it down the road and just randomly putting it on a date in July and maybe just wait for the petitioners to say, hey, we're ready, we've completed our outreach, please schedule us at that time? Because it's a hot topic. It's creating a lot of stress in the community. And as it keeps coming up, it revitalizes all of that, and individuals are reaching out each time that it gets moved. I just think it would be easier on everybody if we could just say, great, let's wait for the petitioners to be ready. Once
When
they're
you're
ready,
ready.
then we'll
Yeah.
put you on the schedule.
Good idea.
Oh, and the last thing was the I got feedback from people in South Palm Park. They were very happy with the new stop signs, and wanted to thank the city for those.
Oh, I thought it was interesting yesterday in the paper about the Lake Worth Road, how they put those protected bike lane things that people are hitting, and it's like what we have on 6th Avenue. I've gotten quite a few calls about that, about those. We all know those 6th Avenues are a problem. Okay, it is now 9:47. Anybody else have anything while or we can? Nobody else has anything. I'm surprised. And that's fine.
I do, Madam Mayor.
Oh, I
But
can see your hand up.
Let's see if we can do
Oh,
that.
no, you don't have to put your hand up. Just go ahead.
I just want to reiterate something that I have mentioned before at meetings, that I think, or my understanding of our duties as elected officials here is to look out for the health, safety, and welfare of all of our residents, everybody who's here, as best as we can. And I recognize that we can't do everything, we can't fix all problems, but we should try. And I just want to try to share with the rest of the commission that may not be as aware of it, the level of fear, of distress, of in our community with what's going on nationally, much of which does not seem to be following the rule of law. The Constitution grants due process to all persons in the city, in the country. And it is pretty clear that there is pressure right now simply to get numbers and deport people, and we'll worry about whether people should have had due process or not. They'll worry about that later. I don't know what we want to do as a community, but we do have a significant number of residents who are suffering under that, on the edge of, if not violation of our constitutional requirements. And we've said that we do want to protect groups. We want people to feel safe in our community. Be aware that we lost a 13-year-old to suicide, at least partly because of these things, in the last month. I would encourage people on the commission, and I will be happy to help if I can, to find ways to experience and be aware of some of this more firsthand. I think it would help us be more compassionate, perhaps help us find ways to be more helpful to the community, more understanding of what's going on. It's in the Haitian community, it's in the Guatemalan community, it's in anybody who might stand out, anybody of color, because at this point, the pressure is we need to get to 10,000 deportations a month. That's what the staff is being told. Get the numbers, get the numbers. And I've mentioned it before, but these are situations that are so similar to ones that have happened in humanity's past, historically. I think we all want to think about, what did we do when we had an opportunity? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McBoy. Anybody else have anything? Well,
Since we do have a couple more minutes, I do want to
yeah, we
ask
do.
a question. Just a couple specifics that I'm getting from constituents on my end. The Can Mr. Brown, would you explain just for anybody who might be listening, if somebody wanted to get a speed bump, do we have a policy for that?
Yes, we do.
I
Yeah,
know.
we have a traffic calming policy on the website.
So if somebody wanted a speed bump on their street, they could go to the website, they could go to the speed bump and they could do an application process for that, correct?
Yep.
That is correct. And actually, if you go to the website with our new search bar, like when you open the website on the bottom right-hand corner, all you literally have to type in is the Lake Worth Beach Digital Assistant. If you just type in traffic calming or traffic calming policy, it'll take you right to it, and you can open the document right from there.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing that.
That's been there for a few years already.
I know, I just wanted it to be out.
Yeah,
in the-
no, it's helpful.
I know where it is. I'm not asking for me.
Anything else?
No.
Tomorrow's Founder's Day. Oh, Mr. Segwich, I see your hands up.
I know that you brought this up before, Mayor, about the ombudsman, and we discussed that. With budget season coming up, I think some sort of a liaison for business and residents with the city could be very helpful. And maybe we can add that to the discussion or consensus to get a discussion of something like that, because being new to this, a lot of the inquiries that we do get, are, hey, can you tell me about how do I get a speed bump, or how do I do this, how do I do that,
Or a problem with a permit or a problem with something.
and so a role like that within the city, not that we don't fill that role, but it would be helpful, I think, and I think it would help attract businesses and residents.
And I think it would be a little more, it would be helpful because the person would get a complaint, let's say complaint, and then would follow up on it and then would have a result. So we would know because when you or me or Chris or anybody, we get, we kind of do what we can do to help, but we don't know, people don't know how many, you don't understand until you're here, how many emails you get a day or phone calls you get a day about very specific problems that we have no control. We're not, operational. So we really can't help as much as we'd like to sometimes, but I'm glad to hear you say that, and I obviously agree with you. I think we'd have more accountability if we had no office. So thank you. We can talk about that, Ms. May, Mr. McBoy. Talk about that at some point.
I
Yeah,
certainly, go ahead, Commissioner May.
Oh, no, I just said it sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to have the conversation as well.
I think it's a good conversation to have. There clearly are issues. I suspect we all get lots of calls. Sometimes we can resolve them, sometimes we can't. It would be great if there was some way that residents could get it. And then, well, anyhow, we can have that discussion. Yes, I'm in favor of it.
It would also, we'd be able to see a little bit clearer where the problems are with, we are policy, but our policy is to bring good services and good things to our citizens. And I think that kind of thing is important. Mr. Segwich, your hand's still up.
And it's difficult for us to discuss amongst ourselves
Exactly.
because of sunshine, and that information would be made a lot more public if we had an individual who could produce reports and let everyone else know what's going on and how many people are getting helped.
Can you
And just-
explain the position that you're discussing? Just real quick.
Sorry? For what?
I just wanted Anthony to explain the position that he's talking about.
Ombudsman?
Yeah,
The ombudsman? Go ahead.
it's an individual who can handle some of these more logistical inquiries. So somebody's having a permit issue, or somebody wants to know about traffic calming policies and they don't feel that staff got back to them with the appropriate information, or a new business coming into the city struggling with understanding, okay, what comes first, my utilities or the BTR, those kinds of questions. So anything you find yourself immediately taking an email from somebody and saying, hey, staff, what can we do for this? And then taking their reply and pasting it back in and saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Resident or business owner, here's the answer from staff. A lot of those things. I would also like to see a focus on, more of a business liaison, helping new businesses get it off to the right start. because as you guys all know, a lot of times we hear one side of the story, which is the city's evil. And when we dig into it, it's, well, maybe there was a couple pieces of paper you forgot to give to the evil city, and so forth. So it would be a role that helps clarify a lot of that and smooth over a lot of these speed bumps, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I know, I understand that it means creating a new position and we're very tight for money, but I think it would be money that I personally think it'd be a good investment to have, again, for a lot of reasons. So.
Yeah, but I think that it would be difficult to have one person who knows everything about the city. I mean, it
They
should.
don't have, no, but they take the complaint and they as a staff member can go to that department and go, this is the problem, how do we fix it? So that we don't have to get involved. It goes directly to some person. Like if we get a complaint, we send it to the ombudsman, they deal with it as a staff member with staff and come back and report fix the
Yeah, I
situation.
mean, it would be nice if we got this is what happened to this situation, because
Right,
I'm
that's-
not getting that.
That's
Okay.
what I'm talking about. So we have some accountability. So after a couple of months, we can say, hey, we've gotten, 75 complaints. I'm just using the word, and 20 of them were this, 20 of them were that, just to kind of unify our eyes on how the city is progressing and for some accountability and to take it off us, because we can't call staff and go, hey, we have to be very, very careful about that. So I'm glad that you brought it up, and I hope that we can continue the conversation with budget. So having said that, is any last minute things before we shut this baby down? We're almost there. I'm obsessed about the 10 o'clock. It's really good about it.
Well, I can't wait to leave my hotel room this morning and see if the rioting is as bad as the news media is sensationalizing. So,
Well, yeah. Well, be safe out there, Miss Malega.
Where are
Alright.
you?
Los Angeles. So, all right. Thank you very much for your time. See a couple of you at Founders Day tomorrow, I hope. And